first problem. So which is not a platform. So a platform, like as they say, has to be immutable. Once I get the binary cannot be modified. You use things on the fringes to set up whatever you need to set up. Obviously, the platform is not an out of the box. It's not like a fan where I just come and install it. It only does one thing. I turn it on and off. That's it. Right? But a platform, I have to make it do something specific. What I do with it may be different from what somebody else does with it. So it has to enable what I want, but without modifying the box. So the boundaries are very sacrosanct. You can't modify the boundaries of what you provide. I can have stuff on the fringes that's in my control. They could be files, they could be databases, right? Or they could be like APIs. Could be anything, right? But they're on the fringes. And this should be in my control. And these are not source files, not your source files. You can't say like you modify these source files and recompile. You can't do that. So your binary is completely immutable. I won't change anything in it. I can't change anything in it. That's what makes it a platform, right? I have a bunch of config files, maybe some DB setup and the APIs. So I'm not sure where this ambiguity crept in. So the lines got blurred. These came in and out. Some things were inside. Some of your config was inside, right? That's the first problem. So I want to make sure you understand a platform. The boundaries are very rigid. Nothing inside the boundary can change. Okay. The second thing which I saw was missing. Some of you, probably all of you, I have to recollect now, but I don't think, other than one team, I don't think most of the teams got that right. This is an application platform, right? I have to build an application. So which means when I build the application, I should not have, the application model has to be very clear. The steps that I have to follow to build the application. Okay, do this. We said like there are gateways, there was the repository, right? There was registry. Now to use the application, we said we will start with the repository, right? We will configure the type. I'll go into this in a little bit. But what I want to highlight is the steps that a user has to follow. So I am the user of your platform, right? And this is a development platform. So I'm going to build something, build my own application on your platform. That process was not clear for most of you. Again, like there were these blurred lines. So just go back and revisit, make sure that the process, that's why I made you write the user manual. And like the last one I didn't give feedback, but the first two I gave feedback. I told what I was expecting in the user manual, right? And the user manual or user guide is what you're telling the user how to build their application, right? There was the second problem, which most of you didn't get that right. The third problem was the whole notion of like what I use in the, one thing is the actual physical artifacts. There are the files, the database, if I need to set up in the database, which in your case probably you didn't, and there are the APIs. These are physical. And then there is a whole conceptual model. If I'm hard coding sensor IDs in my application, right? Okay, by hard coding a sensor ID, some number, by hard coding, I'm not modifying this. So it's not as bad as the first two cases. But there is a paradigm problem here. We said multiple times, we will try to locate, we will not go with, see, as an application, if I'm trying to control the lighting in this room, do I care if this sensor here is sensor number 24? I don't care. What do I care? I only care for the room, right? I only care for the fact that there is a light sensor and the room. We discussed it multiple times. So what is the fact that there is light sensor is what in our system? Type, right? So I need to go, so I am interested in the type called like light sensor so and so. The next thing I care for is the location. So which is why we said since we don't care for where they are, when I give the location I will give this coordinate and I'll say like I'm okay with 50 feet radius from here, which I know is definitely inside the room. So if we can find a sensor at this GPS coordinate with a 50 feet radius, then I know that that's my sensor. Now that again, like many of you had hard-coded sense radius. So the type is a very, very important aspect. Since we can't magically write a software that just goes and discovers what type, we said we will know that it is of light type so and so. It is Philips model so and so sensor. Because like the reason I need to know that is the abstractions. Because each sensor may have its own, the information model may be different. So so that I'm willing to bind just that alone. I'm willing to take the type to any levels deep. There is light sensor, there is fluorescent sensors. I can go even to Philips sensors. I can go to a specific Philips model. Right? So you pick based on the type that's in the database and what's available. It's okay even to go to this level, but this is a type, right? And we need a type because in my application, when I get the current whatever data from that sensor, I need to know what I'm getting. If you have well-defined, like Samsung is going after well-defined standards, but of course it's Samsung standard today, they're making a strong case to make it industry standards. Now if standards come up, then I don't need to know that it's Philips. I will have some other definition saying like, okay, there's a light sensor and there is this new standard, whatever, some standard like light. But in both cases, we need it only to identify this, right? We need to know that it's a light sensor and we need to identify the interface. So this whole type definition is the other one which I saw. So 4 parts. 1, the sandbox was not clear. 2, the user guide was not clear, right? And 3, the whole notion of type was not, none of you had, if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, none of you had an information model for the type. All of you assumed like it's just returning an integer. Why should it return an integer? Why can't it return a float? Why should it return only one integer? Why can't it return like 3 integers? Security camera, why can't it return an image? Why can't it return a video feed? It could be anything. We discussed it multiple times, right? So none of you had the notion of the types was not modeled well, and then there was no information structure. Right, and an extension of this was that the repository definition was incomplete. You have to have the types defined, right? And many of you, I don't think it's all of you, but many of you, at least half the groups, got the type and sensor in the same kind of, it's mixed up. You don't have an explicit type definition operation. It's like saying, like I used the example the other day also, like it's saying that every time I insert a row, I have to also give the whole table definition. Insert into table so and so, these are all the columns and types, and this is the value. Is that how we work with it? We do the table definition once. We will do the type definition once. And we have to do it. You can't say like when I create the first sensor, I'll create the type. That is not how it is. It is not that dynamic that you have to allow that flexibility. They are relatively infrequent operation. It's a very critical operation. So you don't want to mix it up with creating the first sensor. Some of you got that. And of course, information model also had it along with the sensor. When I'm creating a sensor, why should I even bother creating a type? I mean, if you're going to give the information, there's nothing called a type. Like every sensor, I'm defining what information model or what structure it has and the rest of the details. Then there's no notion of a type at all. So type is a very critical entity for this model to work, right? And then the information structure, like the commands, I don't think all of you even had commands listed in your type repository. See, commands is it's a specific set. I can't go and like give a set temperature command to the light, right? Now, like, and it's not always on and off. Like just for a fan, like I might have on, off, and set speed. Now, so given the commands are different depending on the device, the commands will be very specific. So you have to have that, like, and so the information structure was missing, and then the command structure was missing. And this has to be explicit in a type repository. This cannot be mixed up with your sensors, right? So in your repository, you'll have a type repository and then as sensors, and then some kind of a topology. My list of gateways. Okay, so the type was missing. For the gateway modeling, again seemed very blurred. The gateway modeling, some of you got it right, most, yeah. Okay, what do you need for a command? What do you need for a command? If you're modeling a command, see, why are we doing this? What's the purpose of doing this? Partly to make the system dynamic, but also to make sure your application knows how to work with it. It's like having in web services, why do we have a WSDL? Because WSDL describes the service, and it should be self-descriptive. So when I read it, like I can't have like set X. Nobody knows what X is. If the function name is set temperature, I know exactly what it is. So it has to be descriptive names. It has to be annotated comments. The idea of WSDL is like, if I get a WSDL, I know how to use the service. The idea of the repository is like, when I get it, when I'm building the application, I should be able to get the type information. I should know how to work with it. I know that it's a light sensor, but specifically how to work. When I look at the list, so if you have get information, you have the type, the whole data structure or the info structure. So that's the most important, one of the most important things to work with it. When I do a get data, I need the information structure, so it should be well defined. That is to get. When I'm executing a command, right? I need the command. We assume that day like we'll use strings. I'm okay strings or like, but it should be like readable. I can't say command 1. So even if I'm using like integers, like I should just use some references. But simple thing is string. So I will say my command is set temperature. Right? Now, just like this, it has not all of them will be just a command. They'll almost always have some information that's to be given. Right? If it's set temperature, I know that like my information structure has only one field or two fields, whatever it is. So in this case, one field, which is integer or whatever type is numeric, and it's the temperature to be set. Absolutely, which none of you got it. That's precisely what I'm saying. In your repository, you can make some assumptions. I'm okay. If you said like, okay, we assume like none of the commands will have more than 5 fields, I can accept that. But none of you even assume there's an information structure required for commands. And not only is it required, some of you assume, but then you just assume that you send it. It is not modeled here. If it's not modeled here, I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to validate it. When the command comes to the, I keep thinking I'm at the edge of the, when it comes to the filter server, there's no way to validate the command is right or not. So you need that, both to communicate to the developers and also for your own validations. Okay, so that was the other thing. I think I covered that already. You got that right? Okay. Now the next thing I saw not clear was the gateway. So that goes to the related thing. Like in the repository, I need to have a topology. I don't think any of you had a well-defined topology. The list of gateways, right, has to be well modeled. I have a list of gateways. In gateway, like these are the sensors, and these are so and so type, and this should, like this is the list of gateways, and this should, the sensor and type should dereference to your sensor list. Some of you duplicate this information. We said for sensor, to access the sensor, it's a communication. Apart from knowing sensor ID, you need to get some communication reference. If it's a BLE, it's Bluetooth name or whatever, you need some communication reference based on the protocol. The type defines the protocol. When you go into the list of types, so the type, apart from other things, we also said this one uses BLE protocol, give some more information. Apart from all this stuff, it also says that sensor, what's the communication? It's a key part of your whole type definition. The sensor, I'll just come to that. The sensor should give the specifics. Okay, its type is BLE, it has to give its BLE reference. If it says like it is based on TCP IP, maybe it should give an IP port. I mean TCP, I mean the Ethernet address. Depending on the type, we said we'll only support BLE. So for BLE, we only need the name. So at least that is part of the, in the sensor list. So you have a sensor list. But in the gateway, I only should have just the dereference only. I say like this gateway has, these are the sensors. As an FY, I can refer to the type. I don't need this also. Even that I can go here and reference because the type is kept here in the sensor list. But if it's there, it's okay. It's not there, it's okay. It doesn't matter. But the important thing is to, with the gateway, I should not keep any more information here. The idea being like, maybe I have redundancy built in. I have 2 gateways in the room. And so I want to dynamically change it. If one gateway goes down. So for any number of reasons, like this is not a hard binding. So we're talking about a wireless protocol. If it's a wired protocol, it may be a hard binding. Even then, I don't know if it should be a hard binding. Like I can replace the gateway, even if it's like I have 4 ports, I can plug in the ports. I should be allowed to replace the gateway. So like you don't want this binding to be hard, which means your sensor list should be separate. All your sensor details should be separate. Okay, that's how it is, right? You have a type, you have a sensor, you have a gateway. Why do you want a hard binding? So you want to keep the type separate. You want to keep the sensor list separate. It only refers to a type. You want to keep your gateway's list of sensors separate. It only refers to sensors. So then you can just string them apart anyway. So that's a good practice that you keep it as, because physically they're not connected, right? The sensor, the gateway, and the type are not physically bound. Then why do you want to bind it by putting everything in one place? You have the sensor here, you have the type here, you have the sensor, like the communication protocol, everything in one row, which means you physically bound it. I am binding the type to the sensor to the gateway, right? Some had even gateway in it. So this dereferencing is very important. We discussed this multiple times. Okay, so there was the other thing. The gateway config was missing, was not clear, and related to that was the topology, which is related. Okay, I'll call it 4A. Okay. The other one that was missing is like, okay, we never discussed a whole lot, but the ambulance use case, to support the ambulance use case, yeah. No. See, if you remember how you got the sensor, you already asking for a sensor of a given type. So you don't have to check anymore. When I even got the sensor which I am using to get data, I have asked for a given type anyway. That's important. That's why I'm saying that's very, very important. When I do a get sensor, right? When I do the get sensor, the type has to be, that's what the application should only worry about, type and location. I should not hard code anything else. Though you might argue like, why can't I hard code? You can, yes. We are not modifying the platforms. You can hard code. It's not a good practice. So your application API, I got the sensor ID once and I use it in my code. No, you can't stop it, right? We can't stop it here like that. Here they've hard coded the sensor ID. It's not a good practice. So in your application, in your code, you want to do a get sensor based on type and location and anything else. So when I send the sensor ID here and do get data, my type is already modeled because I got the sensor ID based on the type. And if I know the type, I know what structure to expect. So I don't have to check anything more because this is in my code, right? These two are in my code. So there I've already modeled it. Gateway structure doesn't matter. That's the other thing. Some of you had gateway access in the code. You can't be referring. See, we discussed multiple times. If I have to, as an application, I have to only worry about type and location. Why should I know about the gateway? But there's one gateway here or one gateway in this whole building or like 4 gateways inside. I don't care. I should not care. That's a completely useless data for me. As an application developer, I only want to know that in this room is there a light. That's all I want to know. Gateway is completely useless data for me. So nowhere in this gateway should come. Okay? And when it came to the whole ambulance thing, fine, we didn't discuss it. But at least if we had understood all of this, you would have figured out a better way of doing it. You can't, like, if an ambulance is telling the ID, then we have violated this, right? Now suddenly I'm getting sensor ID from somewhere else. It's outside of our platform. This is the platform. Most of you assume like I know the ambulance ID. Some of you assume that the user gives the ambulance ID. Now, how will the user know what the ambulance ID is? Right? So, and it also violated our whole assumption that we will get the sensors only given type and location. So, you have to extend this abstraction. Right? The location can be like a static thing called mobile. I don't know. But the point is that you can't assume user is giving the ambulance ID. Okay? Now it can be dereferenced some other ways. You have to figure out. So that's from the exam standpoint, don't worry about that. But I just want to highlight that is not the most critical of your problems. Your problems are more basic here. I'm saying that became yet another problem because you didn't even think about it at this level. So much less at a level where there's no location even. Right? And like, but what was, some of you try to defend why it had to have the first location. In a mobile, when I store the location, right, along with the sensors, when I store the location, for something like an ambulance, what location will you store? How does it matter, like when you registered the ambulance happened to be sitting in the parking lot here? It doesn't matter. That location is meaningless. Whether when the registered ambulance was here or like at Apollo or in their, I don't know, in Mahindra's shed, it doesn't matter, right? That location is meaningless for something like an ambulance. And that's quite likely. You can't have like, if with two use cases we try to model, one had an ambulance like scenario, it's quite likely that in any IoT environment there are mobile, right? So some of the mobile could be like RFID tags. It's not a sensor. So the sensors can be fixed, like say what TAF uses, right here downstairs. For what they use, there's only an RFID tag in the cycle, and the tag readers are fixed. They know where the tag readers are. But imagine if the sensor had its own GPS receiver. It's quite possible, right? That it has a GPS receiver right in the cycle. Then I don't need tag readers anymore. So that is a tag, and that's also the tag communicator. Now, then what so there's no, these are quite likely use cases. Having sensors, exactly as our system defined sensors. So having sensors that are mobile is quite likely. So you need to have a better framework for that. Like one of the things we discussed that was like in the system, just mark it as mobile. In the location, there is some code, there's some geocode for maybe 0000, whatever, some code, I mean 00 coordinates, which you marked as mobile, which means that it doesn't have location, but has a current location, right? So in the registry you can have current location. You could, if you so chose to. We didn't discuss that, but that could have been a model that when along with the sensor pings, for mobile devices, for static devices, the location is the same. For mobile devices, along with the health ping, it gives the location, if it can. Okay? It doesn't need to, right? Imagine in the ambulance model, you could somehow figure out the ambulance based on whatever. Then it doesn't matter where the ambulance is, so long as you can communicate with the ambulance. So not all use cases maybe you even need to know the location. But there could be one way that in the registry, along with the health ping, you also save the location and keep. You could use that, you could use some other model, but the important thing is to be aware of the abstractions and fit with the abstraction. You can't hard code anything in your application code. Okay? So these are some of the, I thought all of these were fundamental and most of you didn't get it, so which is why I was a little worried. So I just want to make sure I touch upon it again. So any questions on this? It's always this. There's clarity in everybody's face, and there's zen calmness in everybody's voice, right? And then like you go and make fundamental. Okay, I am going to assess only based on what I am expecting. Okay, so let's be very clear. Tomorrow is the test, and it doesn't. If you haven't got what I think it should be, that's what the assessment is going to be based on. So, if you have any questions, ask it now. And this will be like half of the paper, or more than half the paper on the project. Probably 60% of the paper will be on the project. The rest will be on the labs and quizzes. Yeah. How do you get the ambulance ID from? How do you get the ambulance ID? For an ambulance application, which ambulance goes doesn't matter. If there are 10 ambulances, some ambulance got dispatched. So you cannot know the ambulance ID. I know, but you're only going to reach out to one ambulance ID. So which one are you going to? You start talking about the code here now. So this